Peace, peace. So I'm back with another late night reading. The last few weeks I've been coming with these late night readings. I've been reading out of this book called The Hood Health Handbook, Volume 1. And it's basically just a bunch of different writings by a bunch of different authors on the topic of health. And so last time I stopped on page 47. And some stuff I'm going to skip around because it got charts and surveys and stuff in it. But yeah, I like reading this because peace, neat girl. Because I personally, the month of August, I wanted to do like an alkaline August. I wanted to like just incorporate mostly alkaline foods. Failed at that. But still doing my plant-based thing. But I'm thinking I usually do a watermelon challenge or fast during the summertime, and I missed out on it. The lady I usually do it with, I don't think I seen her posting about it, but it ain't, I shouldn't just do it waiting on somebody to post. But I got 3 watermelons in there that I'm going to juice, some for personal and some to sell. Anyways, I'm definitely not doing alcohol this month. Just, time to tighten up. I'm working out, so it's just certain things that I don't need to keep hindering my progress. So I got a little energy in me. So before I head to bed, just had a nice little impromptu rehearsal with some friends in the living room. So I missed the daggone Blackest Truth. Y'all gotta go follow the Blackest Truth channel on YouTube and Facebook. And tune into my girl Neef Knight. She has a nice little thing going there where she is talking about everything black and how white supremacy be affecting all of that. Y'all check her out. So I gotta go catch the replay, sis. But getting into it, the Hood Health Handbook. We stopped at page 43. And it says, excuse me, it starts off, "Is it all in your head?" by Supreme Understanding. What is somatization? Put simply, somatization is a tendency to experience and communicate somatic distress in response to psychological stress and to seek medical help for it. In other words, it's when you feel like shit physically, but it's really because of something in your head. It's related to temporary psychosomatic conditions, those where your mind is affecting your body, as well as the full-fledged somatization disorder, a psychiatric diagnosis applied to patients who persistently complain of varied physical symptoms that have no identifiable physical origin. Hey, y'all. Now, that may sound crazy and rare to some of us, but it's really very common in our community. In fact, studies suggest that somatization is more prevalent in Black and Latino communities than anywhere else. Some of this is tied to cultural beliefs. I'm sick because she put a hex on me, while in many other cases it's tied directly to depression, which we don't really talk about, so we just say we're in pain. The following test can help you to see if this applies to you. So I'm not going to go through this because it's a lot, but there's something called a Pennebaker Inventory of Limbic Languidness. What the hell does that mean? And it's a 54-question self-test that measures people's tendency to notice and report a broad array of physical symptoms and sensations. So it's a whole questionnaire. I'm not going to go through that. We're going to skip on over that. And we're just going to end it here. Watch your thoughts. They can bring about an imagined ailment. All right, moving on. Am I fat? Probably, by Supreme Understanding. Everyone knows that being fat or obese is linked to damn near every health problem you can think of, from diabetes to heart attacks. Yet some of us may be a little confused about what it means to be fat. Though many of us like to think we have just a little gut and are still healthy, that's not necessarily true. We think the risk factor is overall obesity, but it's actually more about your waistline than anything else. That's right, your gut. And we often think that having a little gut doesn't mean that we're at risk for high blood pressure because we are not obese, which this is wrong too. Health experts agree that the bigger your belly, the bigger your risk for high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, type 2 diabetes, gallbladder disease, metabolic syndrome, and numerous cancers. Waistline measurement. The simplest indicator is a visual assessment of your waist to hip ratio. If you're a man and your waist is larger than your hips, or you're a woman and your waist is more than 4/5 of your hip circumference, that's a sign that dangerous visceral fat is surrounding an abdominal organ. That's where all the risk begins. Need an accurate assessment of how high your risk is? You can do a simple waistline measurement. All you need is a tape measure. Position it around your waist at the level of your belly button. You can also use the top of your hip bone as a guide. You might be surprised to find you've got abnormal obesity, even though you aren't obese overall. According to the International Disease Federation guidelines, the healthy normal waistline numbers by gender are as follows. Now, this book is outdated. Some of us not using gender, and this book was written in 2010, so it says for females, less than 32 inches is normal. Anything higher is obese. And for males, less than 38 inches is normal. Anything higher is obese. And then they got a picture of this overweight person sitting in this chair. This book, something else. WTR, waist to tallness ratio. The BMI, or body mass index, is how obesity is normally calculated. You can find your BMI in the chart provided in the appendix of this book, but the BMI isn't the best system. Waistline measurement is better, but there's an even better system to measure how much your weight is affecting your health. According to recent studies, your heart risk could be best shown by your waist to tallness ratio. To figure out what your waistline should be for your height, take your height in inches and multiply it by 0.55 for men and 0.53 for women. That will give you a fairly good idea of the upper limit of a healthy waistline in inches for you, which means if you're 5'8" tall male, you're 68 inches in height. 68 times 0.55 equals 37.4, meaning if your waistline measures wider than that, you're at risk and fat. Why is this better system? Keep in mind that for some people, like a huge football player who exercises as a way of life, the BMI index could show them as being obese when in fact they are in excellent physical condition. Did you know? Recent studies have discovered that abdominal fat is even bad for your brain, as it's associated with the brain changes linked to Alzheimer's disease. Your waistline makes a big difference. The following is a set of ways you can tell if you're at risk. Does a big butt mean you're fat? Let me remind you that the idea of being fat is mostly in your head. That is, people who do not fit the description above, waistline bigger than hips, may think they are fat because they don't look like the European models on TV. But I don't even know if anyone wants to look like that anymore. Still, women throughout the world continue to ask their mates, do I look fat? And there's a difference between weight in the right places and weight in the wrong places. Research tells us that if most of your fat is in the belly area, your risk for a heart condition is greater than if the fat resides in your hips, thighs, or rear, sometimes referred to as a pear-shaped body type. Meaning, if you're a woman with big hips, big thighs, and a big booty, you're not fat, obese, or unhealthy unless you have a belly to match. If you're a man with those features, you're not obese either, but you've got bigger problems. No, seriously, those developments occur when a male's body is producing too much estrogen and not enough testosterone. See how to boost your testosterone. Getting back to women, though, NPR recently published an article titled Baby Got Back and a Healthier Heart that notes, it appears that increased glutathione fat mass science speaks for big butt and thighs may be healthy, concludes a review of the scientific literature just published by the International Journey of Obesity. The analysis by a team from Oxford University concluded that unlike people prone to belly fat weight gain, those who tend to pad out around their bottoms are less likely to suffer from cardiovascular and metabolic diseases. They also pointed to recent findings suggesting that fat in the butt and thighs is more efficient at trapping and storing excess fatty acids over the long haul, thus reducing weight gain elsewhere in the body. Dr. Konstantinos, he got a difficult last name, I'm not even going to attempt. The lead author acknowledged in a statement that the connection between belly fat and cardiovascular risk, for one, has been established, but he noted that it is only very recently that thigh fat and a larger hip circumference have been shown to promote health. Yep. A big butt and thighs is good for a woman's health, and a big gut or even a medium pouch is bad for everyone. While we're on the subject, you can also learn to calculate your body fat percentage, um, your basic metabolic rate, and your daily calorie needs using the tables in the appendix of this book. All right, you should take all these things into consideration when you think about your weight and weight loss. Peace, y'all just joining in. I'm reading the Hood Health Handbook. This is the book I'll be reading when I'm up late night doing readings. So it says, Knowing Your Family's Health History by Satori Anada. Did you know the My Family Health Portrait web tool is a free and easy way to organize, save, and share your family history with your doctor and family members, and it gives you a website link. Living a loving, peaceful, and happy life is what most people want for themselves and their families. Achieving this goal includes knowing as much as we can about the health and medical histories of our close relatives. A record of health information about a person and his or her close relatives is called a medical health history. A complete record includes information from 3 generations of relatives, including children, brothers and sisters, parents, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews, grandparents, and cousins. We have many factors in common with our family, including genes, lifestyle, and environment. Together, they provide a picture and give our doctors clues in our risk for developing a particular condition, such as heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, certain cancers, and diabetes. Risk of rarer conditions caused by single cell mutations like cystic fibrosis and sickle cell anemia can be predetermined, allowing more frequent and earlier screenings, changes in diets, and exercise. Talking to our relatives about their health is the best and easiest way to get information about family medical history. Death certificates and obituaries are good resources as well. Keep records of the information, maintain it regularly, and share it with many other family members as possible. How many of y'all do that? I mean, I know I've just heard stories of, somebody dying from something or getting sick because of something, but I don't think we got it written down nowhere. Good idea, I guess. I'm going to end on this page, I think. Let's see. Plan ahead. Take preventative measures. All right. So the next segment is called 13 Ways to Destroy Yourself by Supreme Understanding. Originally published in How to Hustle and Win, Part 1. I know people think I'm playing when I say kill yourself throughout this book. Of course, I don't want anybody to really commit suicide, but the truth is most of us are killing ourselves anyway. If you want some surefire ways to destroy yourself, just check out the following. Before you begin, however, decide what age you want to live to. You'll need this number, so keep it in your head. Number 1, stay angry. A little anger here and there isn't bad at all. It's actually better for you than other emotions like fear and doubt. But like anything you can have too much of, it's best in moderation. If you stay angry for long periods of time, you'll actually end up with health issues like high blood pressure, sleep disorders, and lung damage. As the Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. If this description applies to you in any way, take 10 years off the age you have in your head. 2, sacrifice sleep. Too little sleep, less than 6 or 7 hours a night, has been tied to many different health problems, including obesity, diabetes, and cancer. Mental fatigue is also just as bad as alcohol when it comes to the work risk factor for vehicular accidents. That's why you can get pulled over for driving drunk or just sleepy and go to jail either way. Take off 5 years. 3, get into the wrong line of work. Want to die for your country way before you should? I don't only mean joining the army or the police force. There are plenty of jobs that will overwork and underpay you until you have nothing left to give. Oh, and let's not forget about all the illegal ways to make money, where most people never make it out successfully. Take off 8 years. Ignore the doctor. It's almost impossible to get a man. Hold on. Flip it. It's almost impossible to get a man to take a physical exam, but if you want to find out anything before it's too late, you need to schedule an appointment. If you don't like doctors, see a holistic healer. If not, at least start reading books on health like this one. If you don't want to listen to anybody, just kill yourself now. Take off 12. Did you know, according to a recent study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine, Mind you, this was written in 2010. Um, 4 bad habits can shorten your life by 12 years. The 4 bad habits are smoking, drinking too much, inactivity, and poor diet. The study examined 4,886 adults over a 20-year span. In just 20 years, over 1,000 of the participants died. 431 from cardiovascular disease, 318 from cancer, and 331 from other causes. The shortest lifespans were clearly associated with the above 4 risk factors. In fact, participants' risk of death increased with each additional bad habit. The healthiest participants were those who never smoked and those who had quit, women who had fewer than 2 drinks daily, and men who had fewer than 3, those who got at least 2 hours of physical activity weekly, and those who ate fruits and vegetables at least 3 times daily. 5, dumb down your brain. Reading, doing crosswords, and problem solving are good ways to present Alzheimer's, a degenerative brain disease that affects most people who live to be old enough. On the other hand, every 1% gain in your literacy increases your life expectancy by 2 years. Anyway, a dumb life is a life full of problems that never get solved, and those problems will kill you faster than losing sleep ever could. Take off 14. 6, have a lot of sex. Sex in itself isn't really bad. In fact, it's usually great, but depending on how you do it, you may be signing your death certificate. Keep avoiding those checkups, checking out your partner's background, and forgetting to strap up. Watch what happens. Don't forget that 12 million Americans contract STDs every year, many of which can leave you unable to make or have children. Take off 9. 7, drink a lot. The occasional drink of alcohol ain't so bad as long as it ain't that Thunderbolt or Wild Irish Rose. Actually, a glass of red wine can be good for your heart, but more than 2 drinks per day, and you're looking at permanent liver damage or diabetes. Alcohol is also the root cause of 100,000 deaths per year, not to mention all the stupid, life-threatening problems created on courage juice. Take off 14. Number 8, stress out. Creating more stress in your life is a great way to invite all kinds of diseases to attack the body. When you're always stressed, your adrenal glands are forced to work overtime and will eventually wear themselves out, which seriously weakens your immune system. Next thing you know, you're stressed and sick. Not to mention that stressed out people are more ready to die than regular folks. Take off 20. 9, watch TV. The average American spends a full 9 years of his life watching TV. Those are years that could be spent exercising, reading, or working for social change. Unless you only watch the science and history channels, you're on your way to be an overweight, lazy, TV-addicted couch potato, and that's a recipe for early death. Take off 9. 10, associate with the wrong people. Whether it's a gang where people care more about whether you pay your dues than whether you live or die, or a relationship that drives you insane, there are a lot of people that will make your life shorter. If you want to live, avoid people who don't care about their lives because they won't care about yours, and avoid people who will suck the life out of you even if she can suck the life out of you. Take off 8. 11, smoke. Tobacco-related illnesses are America's number 2 killer. They're also the most preventable. We all know that smoking leads to a dozen different cancers throughout the body. Smoking is also a major cause of heart disease, bronchitis, emphysema, stroke, and even contributes to the severity of pneumonia. Plus, it causes asthma and cancer in the innocent people we smoke around. Just one cigarette can immediately increase your blood pressure and decrease the circulation to your head and limbs. Imagine what a pack does to you. 12, eat junk. In 2016, at least 400,000 Americans managed to kill themselves based almost solely on what they ate. Heart disease is the country's number 1 killer, and although some of that comes from genetics, most of it's due to the crap we eat. Besides all the fat and cholesterol, the chemicals, hormones, and drugs they put in our food are killing us slowly no matter how you cut it. Not to mention all the worms and parasites already in your meat. 13, hate yourself. Here's an easy way to die faster. Live a miserable life that you hate. Hate everything about it, including yourself. Before long, you'll either create the kind of problems that will eventually destroy you, or you'll just give up and kill yourself. Take off 15. Final score. So, Are you destroying yourself right now? What age did you end up with? I hope it's not in a negative number. No matter what number you came up with, learn this lesson. Live like you cherish life, not like you're anxious for death. And I'm going to end right there on page 57. Starting on 47, ended with 57. We'll pick back up with setting wellness goals on the next reading of the Hood Health Handbook. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.